So again, I'm pointing out to you guys, your midterm is 2 weeks from today. So which is March 3rd on Wednesday. If you cannot attend the test or you cannot make up to the test, you have to email me right now as soon as you can, because otherwise, if it's too late, I cannot accommodate you guys. You will get a 0. So if you know you'll be gone on the March 3rd, which is the Wednesday, you have to email me right now. The other thing I point out to you is the review for your midterm. So if you guys have your, if you go to your D2L, what was that? Which is this one. If you go to your D2L, it is posted in D2L under content. So if you go under the class, so if you go to materials and under content, this is the review test right over here. So the review test is right here. So this I just say review test one, actually it's your midterm. So this is the review for your midterm here. So make sure you guys practice this. This is the one that I will point out to you. And don't forget, your test has 10 multiple choice questions. So like question 1 till 5, this is something that you will get for multiple choice question, because it's you can choose one of those. And then there will be like 4 to 5 open-ended questions. Open-ended questions will be something like this, where you have to do a lot of work on it. So this is going to be 11 will be open-ended. That will be multiple choice. So like this kind will be all going to be open-ended questions. So make sure you guys know how to do these kind of questions, because there will be 4 or 5 of this. And as I told early on in the first day of class, which part do you need to start first, the multiple choice or the open-ended question?
Open-ended.
Yes, start on the open-ended questions, because one of these, because your multiple choice is only worth 10 points, which is 1 point per question. That's 10 questions. The 4 to 5 open-ended questions is worth around 50 points. So so I would really highly suggest you guys to start on the open-ended question first. And then the next thing is, if you also look under the material and content in your D2L, this is a chapter 3 extra homework that you guys did. I know there are like 5 students have not done this homework yet. So if you haven't done the homework yet, I just want to point out to you, it is coming up in your midterm next two Wednesday from now. So the key is posted over here. So this is how this is the key for your. Now a lot of students ask me, do I need to type out your answer, your answer when you do your test? The answer is no. Please do not type it out. If I want you to draw the box plots, yeah, I know, I will do that, Teresa. Yep. If I want you to draw the box plot, you just draw it by hand. Okay, so do not copy and paste like what I did over here. Do not copy and paste into your test, because it's going to be very difficult. It will take you more time. Just draw it out, draw it by hand, use a pencil, draw it out. When I ask you, like, if you know, like question 1, I got some students when they do question 1, they just simply does not label it. So I graded your homework already, I know. So like the first one, they want you to find mean, median, mode, mid-range, and range, and so on. So I got students just randomly do, oh yeah, the first one in the box is mean. Mean is this, 7, and then the next one is standard deviation. So they did not follow the sequence of what the orders that I want you to put in here. So in your test, if you just simply do like what your StatCrunch say, mean, standard deviation, variance, right? They didn't follow that. If you did not follow what I want, I will just give you a big fat 0. That's it. This is something very urgent and very important. I did give you guys full points if you did it, but in your midterm, I will ask you exactly the same thing. So make sure you follow like what I did here, okay? And there is also a handful of you guys that did not give me the units. So either you put centimeter on every single one of this, or you do it like the key over here, you just say unit is centimeter. So if you put down your unit is centimeter, you're good to go. You do not need to put centimeter on every single one of it. So please make sure you guys follow the orders that I want from you guys. Don't simply just write whatever you want, okay? And then the second question is asking you to do a 5-number summary and modify the box plot. So this is a modified box plot. Do the modified box plot shows outliers or not? It does. Okay, yes. And I'll show you everything here, how you do this. And then the 5-number summary, I got a lot of students say this number is your minimum. Class, this number is not your minimum. Your minimum is actually the outlier. So the 134.5, which is your minimum, is your outlier. So when I ask you for 5-number summary, this number is not, I think it's 140 something. This is not a part of your minimum, not a part of your 5-number summary. It is the 134.5. This is your minimum. So a lot of students who did not know what's a 5-number summary is minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. These are your 5-number summary, not this number. Okay. And then the part 3, this is the one that a lot of students get wrong, is I interpret the modified box plot. So when you interpret your modified box plot, it is CVDO. C for center, V for variation, D for distribution, and O for outliers. So, so the first thing you need to tell me is, do we have any outliers in this case? Since there is an outlier over here, so what you need to report to me is the median and the IQR. The reason why you report the median and IQR is because median IQR is not affected by outliers. Okay, so if you have any outliers, 1 or 2 or 3, a lot, you have to report the median and the IQR. And this distribution is not symmetric. A lot of people say symmetrical. This is not symmetrical. It's because of your outlier here. So if because of this outlier, it is skewed to your left. Your outlier is on the left side, so it pulls you on the left. So that's why it is skewed to your left. So that's the reason why that some of you get is symmetrical. No, okay, it is skewed to the left. And this is something that this is note to students. If there is outlier exists, you have to report the mean and the IQR. If there is no outliers, that means there is no outlier exists, you have to report the mean and the standard deviation. This is very important. Yes, it's coming up in your test in 2 weeks. So make sure you guys know about this. Oh, by the way, in your test, can you guys get one piece of paper and write all the stuff on it? Can you do that?
Yeah, just one piece.
Just one page, and just the front page, not the back. Make sure your back page is empty. So during the test, I will check for your paper. I will say, all right, everyone, turn on your camera, show me the one page, and then you show it to me. I say, all right, Teresa, you're good to go. Krista, you're good to go. Victoria, you're good to go, and so on, so on. And by the way, Krista, I got your email. I will grade your work. Just yep. So the last question is a person who was 185 centimeters significantly high. So how do we figure out this significantly high? There are 3 ways to do it. One way is to use the range of rule of thumb. Yes, you have to mention it to me. If you are using the range of thumb, you have to, and then when you use the range of thumb, this is also some students did not do, you have to calculate the range, the high and the lower. Some students did not calculate that. You just say, oh yeah, it is in between, inside the range. I will ask you what range you're talking about. Okay, so make sure you calculate the range of the range of rule of thumb here, and then you figure out is 185 in or outside this range. Since 185 is inside this range, so it is not significant. So one way to do this is using range of rule of thumb. So what is the other way for you guys to do it is to use, this is RRT. Another way for you guys to do here is to find the Z-score. So this is the second way for you guys to do. So in order for you to find the Z-score, what you need to do here is you take the value minus the mean over by the standard deviation. And the value that you have here is 185. The mean is the one that you calculate early on in the first part, which is 168.03. So you have to subtract this at 168.03. And then you have to divide this by the standard deviation, which is also you calculate early on in F, which is 9.58. And you have to use your calculator to figure out what is this number is. And if this number is greater than 2, then this is considered what? Significantly high. If it's less than -2, it is significantly low. But if it's between -2 and 2, then it's no significant. So can someone use a calculator and tell me what is this z-score is? We're talking about z-score here. Yep, take out a calculator and calculate this. This is in your test. This is not difficult.
1.77.
1.77. So it's 1.77 is between more than 2 or less than -2. Which one?
Between.
Between. So the question is this significantly high?
No.
No, this is not significantly high. And the reason why? That's what someone say. It is between what?
-2 and 2.
Yep, between -2 and 2. So this is how you do this question. So there are 2 ways for you to do this. So again, class, in your test, you only need to pick one. Do one, don't do both. Okay, you just need to do one. And this is something that we again, class, is this coming up in your midterm?
Yes.
Is that going to cost 22 points for just this question?
Yeah.
Yes. So your test is around 60 some, like 70 points. So 1/3 of your question, 1/3 of your test is already on this question. So that's the reason why I want you guys to do it as an extra homework, is because a third of your test is on one of these questions. So do not mess this one up again. I know some of you mess it up, so make sure you go through this. Yes, the key is posted in D2L. So now my question is, how do you guys import this data into your StatCrunch? Does anyone know how to get the body data into your StatCrunch? So there are 2 ways to do it. One way, if you download the data from D2L, so if you go under materials and content, there is a data right over here. So if you download this data into D2L, then you just need to go to your StatCrunch, and then you go to data, load from the file on my computer, and then make sure you browse it to the data file that you have. And then the body data is right over here. So this is one way to do it. And when you load this, make sure you set this into a tab. Okay, so make sure you set it to a tab and you upload it. So you got all the body data files in here. Okay, that is one way to do it. If you have downloaded your data from D2L. Another way, anyone know another way to do it? Go under StatCrunch in your MyStatLab, and then go where? Data set from your textbook. And then the body data is the first one. You click on it, and automatically it will import the whole thing inside your StatCrunch. They're very easy. I think I showed you guys how to do this before, right?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
So I did. So I don't know, whoever person who is not here, not paying attention, you're gonna fail this class. I just want to tell you that, because this is something that, and you can watch it again for you in YouTube. So, but there are a lot of categories, right? Which one were we talking about here? Which one were you using?
Height.
Please. We are using because in the I will tell you which one to use, right? So if you look at this, then I will say that if you read the question carefully, also if you read the question carefully, is you have to use height. This is height. So when you got this, we are concentrate on height. So if you want to find, this is someone asking me about how to find percentile, pay attention. If you doesn't know how to find percentile and all those things, pay attention now. So you go under stats, you go under calculator, and then you go, not count, summary stats, sorry, stats, summary stats, and columns. And you will have to select height. On this, you Control A. Control A means Control All. You select everything. Now, who was the one asking me about the, yep, Teresa, P17 and P90. This is it, percentile. You see right underneath here, this is percentile. So you want to find 70 and 90, you just put 17,90. This is how you find your percentile using your StatCrunch. It's very easy. And again, make sure you Control A on your statistic, make sure you put the height and you compute. So these are all the stuff. This is your percentile back here. This is your mode. Sorry, forget about your mode. Again, class, do not copy this and paste it to your test. Because as I mentioned early on, right, in my test, you have to follow what? The orders of what I want you to do. So make sure you follow the orders. Do not simply just copy this and paste. If you copy this and paste into your test, I give you 0. That's easy for me to grade. Questions with this?
I have a question. So for the outliers, do we need to list specific numbers or just say yes or no?
For outlier case, you have to draw a box plot.
Okay, but do we need to like specifically say?
I will show it to you if you want. If you want, it doesn't matter. For my case, you do not need to specifically tell me, but as long as you tell me that's 1 or 2 or 3 outliers, it's fine. So how do you do box plot in this case? Is yep, Rachel, someone asked me that question already. So 15. So how do you do that is you go to box graph, you go to box plot, and then again, we want what? We want height, right? Now, make sure you guys, I don't know, you're familiar with this. If you did not check this other option, use fences to identify, make sure you check this. And also, if you want to draw horizontally, make sure you check this. So make sure you check on Vito. I just talked to you guys already, right? Do you guys listen to what I told you guys? Can someone answer Vito's questions? Are we allowed to have a cheat sheet on the exam? Someone, please.
Yes, one sheet, not on the backside.
Are you guys paying attention when I talk to you? This is not the first time I talk about this one, right? Yeah, Rachel, thank you for laughing. So select the height, select the fences, and then draw the boxes horizontal. Make sure you check on this, and when you compute, this is what I got. This is exactly what that's an outlier. So someone mentioned, Victoria mentioned, do you want to figure out outlier? It's very easy. You just, once you draw this box plot, you just highlight this. You just draw a little box on this outlier. And then you go down. You see there's a little pink stuff come up. This pink stuff is your outlier. So the outlier in this case is 134.5. Or if you want, you can just hover your mouse over here, and you can tell that 134.5 is your outlier. You see that, Victoria?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, so you can actually figure out very easily. Just move your mouse over the dot, and they will tell you what row is it. It's row number 65, and the height is 134.5. And the rest is all gonna be, and you can tell the 5-number summary by just hover your mouse towards the box plot. They give you the IQR, they give you the, now, this is something people write down. The lower limit and the upper limit is not the same as your minimum and maximum. Let me repeat again. Some of you, that's why a lot of people put down lower limit is 144.2. Your lower limit and your upper limit is not your minimum and maximum, means they are not a part of your 5-number summary. You guys clear with me? Where is your 5-number summary? Your 5-number summary is found in your data set. Remember the data set that I have? This minimum and maximum. This is your 5-number part of 5-number summary, not here. You guys with me? questions about this homework that you guys have? So make sure you guys know how to do this. This is a third of your test. Questions?
Hello, I have
Yep.
a question.
Yep.
What does it mean for the 17th percentage and 90th? Because we looked it up off of the row, but what does
No.
it mean exactly?
This is the 17th percentile and 90th percentile. So what does that mean is if I arrange your data from low to high, the 17th percentile means on so this is, let's say you cut this into 100. So the 17th percentile in this case, the value in this case is 158.4.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank
And
you.
then so the low means is a minimum, high is a maximum. So that means that when I ask you for the 17th percentile means that your location is, if you score 17 percentile means that 17% of the class you did better than that, and 83% of the class they did better than you, and your score is 158.4. If you have a 90 percentile, 90 percentile is way up here because the whole thing is 100 percentile. So, and that is actually is what, 180.545. This is called percentile. Anyone have any questions? Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is your homework. So I do have some homework with, someone mentioned about homework. So I got 5.1 question 7 and 5.2 question 15. So question 7, which I redid again, so I would redo it again. So in order for you to do question number 7 on 5.1, you have to use this box. So what is the meaning when I say exactly 6 goes? Anyone? What's the problem with getting exactly 6 goes based on this?
It's going to be 0.105.
Yep, 0.105. So it's exactly means you have to use exactly 105. And the next question is asking is 6 or more goes. What's the meaning when I say 6 or more goes?
So you're just going to add 6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, 8. You are correct, Lutasha. So 6, 7, 8 is all this. So you have to add all this up. So take out your calculator and add 0.105, 0.038, and 0.002. And the total of these three is what?
145.
Yep, that's correct. All right, C, which probability are we gonna use in this case? A or B? Oh, where was mine? Sorry. A or B in this case. So I want to point out to you guys, those students who, you know, do not pay attention or do not watch my old YouTube, my old Zoom. So every time when I ask you for significantly high, you always look for the probability of that number or more. And that number and that probability should be less than or equals 0.05 to answer yes. Then yes, it is significantly high. When you're talking about significantly low, you were talking about the probability of that number or less. And this number has to be less than 0.05. Then you will answer yes in this case. So my question to you is this question asking significantly high or significantly low for part C?
High. It's asking for high.
Yeah, they're asking for high. So are we doing part A or part B here?
Part B.
Yep. So A is exactly. So we never use exactly. Okay, I just want to point to you guys. If you're asking for significantly low, significantly high, we never use exactly. So that's why your answer is always part B. So why you use a part B is because the probability given is more extreme result. It's it's extreme result in this case. Because we're talking about anything higher.
the bathroom, like.
All right, someone please mute yourself, Latusha. Sorry. So the next thing is this a significantly high? So can someone tell me if you say part B, what is the probability is that you calculate? 0.145, right? This is a probability that you calculate here. Is this 0.145 is less than or more than 5%? Krista or someone else? Anyone know?
More than.
Yeah, it's more than. So if it's more than, is it yes or no? If it's less than, your answer is what? Yes. If it's more than, your answer is what?
No.
No. Yep. So in this case, your answer in this case is 6 a significant high number. The answer is no, because the probability is more than 5%. So this is how we do this question. Questions? Anyone have any questions here?
Yeah, I have other questions about other problems.
Is that 5-1 or 5-2?
It would, let me check.
Yeah, please check because I don't want to spend some time on reading. So if you have problems, I already told you in the first beginning of class, just let me know.
Well, first, I would like to know how we can find different problems on here with the same so like for like let's say like 3.2 or something. Let's say I didn't fully grasp the concept and I wanted to have more practice questions.
Go under gradebook. You want to review, go under gradebook. And then you will have a review here.
All right. And then
click on it and then you can review as much as you want. Yep.
Perfect. And then for 5.2. Last week we weren't able to go over 13 or 14. I believe they're the same, like similar problem.
Okay.
As well as 15 and 16.
Okay, I'll go with that. Yes. All right. So so 13 and 14. This is something also you need to know is you need to find the mean and the standard deviation. Okay. Now, if you recall from 5.1, you also did mean and standard deviation, where how you do it is you put your X in var1 and you put your probability in var2, or you import it from your data set. And then you go to stats, calc, customs, and then you go in to pick your mean over there, right? This is what you did in 5.1 for previous homework 5.1. But in order for you to find a mean and standard deviation, you can also do it that way, but it's going to be a lot of work. But we have a formula for 5.2. As long as it is a normal binomial distribution. So this is 5.2 here. As long as it is a binomial distribution, the mean in this case is actually using the formulas of n times p. And the standard deviation in this case is square root of npq, n times p times q. So this is how you figure out your mean and your standard deviation for question 12 or question 13 or question 14. Okay. So in this case, in question 13, it says that the couples has a gender selection. The method they use to increase the likelihood of each baby will be a girl. So the probability of getting a girl is 50%, assuming that the groups consist of 48 couples. So can someone tell me by reading this question here, what is your N and what is your P? What is your N and what is your P?
Your N is going to be 48, and then your P is going to be 0.5.
Yeah, 50%. What will be your Q in this case? Does anyone know what Q stands for? Q.
Is that qualified?
Yep. And how do you get 0.5? Wait, is it Rachel? How do you get that? Don't forget, Q is the opposite of P. So that means when you add this up, you should get exactly what? 1.
25. Okay.
Yep, you get exactly 1. So if I say P is 0.28, can someone tell me what is Q will be?
28.
No. Again, the addition of these two has to be 1. So can you tell me what number, if you add with 0.28, you get 1?
Okay.
0.72.
0.72.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So this is what you got here is, so that means, Rachel, I need to mute you because there's a background voice behind you.
I'm sorry, I'm confused on Q. How do you find Q?
You take 1 minus P.
Okay,
1
thanks.
minus 0.28. Okay, so now once you got this, you can find the mean. The formula for mean is N times P. Yes, this is a formula. Make sure you put this in your cheat sheet for your test. So N is 48 and P is 0.5. So take out your calculator, multiply 48 with 0.5, and what you get?
24.
24. So that is your mean. And then the next answer we have is a standard deviation. So in order for us to find the standard deviation, the formula is square root of N times P times Q. So this is square root of 48 times 0.5 times 0.5, because your Q is 0.5. So take out your calculator. Everyone, please
12.
take out your calculator and see what you get. Someone say 12. I do not know. I don't think so. It's 12. Everyone, please take out your calculator and do this because it's coming out in your test. And by the time you ask me in your test how you do this, I will tell you I do not know. So that's why 12 is wrong. Should
Is
be
it 3.46?
something something? Yep, 3.46 something is correct. Who did not get 3.46?
I didn't. So we're supposed to multiply 48
0.5
times 0.5 times 0.5.
and then take the square root of it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So
didn't
I
take
think
the
a lot of students did not take the square root of 12. You got 12, but you have to take a square root of it.
Okay, I got 3.46. Yes.
Okay, and in 1 decimal place, this is 3.5.
5. Yeah.
So make sure you take the square root. Don't give me 12. Make sure you take a square of it. You guys all with me? Tasha got it good. Anyone that need helps with this? Because I can ask you right now. In the test, I cannot tell you. I will say I do not know. Anyone in the same page? Everyone good? All right. Next, you have to use a range of rule of thumb. Do you guys, anyone know what is range of rule of thumb means? What's the formula for range of rule of thumb?
Mean minus 2 times or add 2 times the SD.
Yep, times the standard deviation. You're correct. So, but this one is asking for significantly low. Significantly low, are we doing the addition or the subtraction?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So we already got the mean and we got the standard deviation. So we just need to take 24 minus 2 times 3.46. Anyone has an answer here using your calculator?
$17.08.
17.08, which is in 1 decimal place. 17.1.
1.
And then the next one they ask you is the significantly high. So you just need to do the addition one. So just replace the minus to become plus. Can someone tell me what is that going to be?
30.9.
30.9. You guys okay here? I think you guys know how to use this one, right? Because we did it in chapter 3 before. And I think that's it. That's your work. Oh, no, that more. All right, so that means you between 30, these are the numbers we have. So
15.
the next, I'm sorry?
15, question 15.
Rachel, can you type because, or you can call your whoever behind you to. So these are the two numbers that we have. So next we're gonna do here is 40. Is 40 goals are significantly high? So can someone tell me, is 40 inside or outside this range? Forty is that in or outside this range?
Outside.
So that means the outside means it's significantly high, right? So the result is significantly high is because 40 goals is greater than 30.9 outside that range, right? So as a result of 40 goals would suggest that the method is, let me see, now we can think. So it's significantly high, so it's going to be effective. Okay, so if so anything that born above this is considered effective. So, so the result is significantly high because 40 is outside that range, which is greater than 30.9. And so it is effective in this case. Okay. So for this question, anything that is above this is considered effective. Anything that below this is considered not effective. The reason why is because if you want to have girls, you want to be higher than this, then it will be a very good method. If you go below this, it is not a good method. Okay, yeah, we're going to go to question 15, Rachel. There's like 3 people asking that question already. Okay. Who was that? Is that Kimberly? Kimberly, I think the next question, number 14, is the same thing.
Yes, yeah, that's what I said. It was just one of the questions that I didn't finish on the homework because.
And I do want you guys to practice 14 on your own because it's in your test.
So can we also look at 11 and 12? I couldn't complete 11.
Okay, let me do 15 first because a lot of people are asking 15, and then we'll go back to 11 and 12. So, so number 15 is asking us, is a pharmaceutical company will receive large shipments of aspirin. The acceptance sampling plan of this test is 39 tablets. To accept this whole batch, it has to be only one or none that does met the requirement specification. So if you read this till here, the one I just stopped here, the question already provide us the N and the X. Can someone tell me what is the N and the X in this case? Reading this question. So your N in this case is how many do we test here? We got 39 tablets. So 39 will be your N. And what is your X in this case? It will be 1 or none. 1 is 1. Can someone tell me what number is it for none? It will be 0. Then the question continues. If the shipments of 3,000 aspirin tablet is used as 5% rate defects. So this 3,000 that you see here is redundant. That means it's useless. Don't use this 2,000 is not your N. This 3,000 is your capital N. So you do not need to worry about that. The 5% in this case is your P. So your P in this case is going to be 0.05. So in this case, the question is asking for what is the probability of this case. So in order for us to figure out this probability, you have to go to the StatCrunch and go to your stat, go to your calculator, go to your binomial, right? This is what you do. And then you type in what you need to type in over here. In this case, your N is 39. Your P is 0.05. Can someone tell me what should we use to do for this case?
To be
Lesser, would it be lesser?
Less
Does
than
it
or
say
equals
less than? Oh,
1, right? No,
yeah.
1. You guys with me here? So when you have less than or equals to 1, it means it's 0 and 1. So in this case, when you hit compute, this is your answer. So your answer in this case will be 0.412947, something like that. So
I have
this,
a question.
yes,
So how do you know 1 or none is X?
is in the question.
But how do you know that's X?
Read the questions. Usually they will tell you out of this how many of those is not good. Yep, this is how we do it. You have to read the question. So this answer will become in 4 decimal place is 0.4129. I'll give you another, you will have another example coming up. Now, so in order for you to accept this, how many, this is accept, right? How many percent is this? Can someone transform this to percent? What is 0.429 in percent? That will be
1.29.
41.29%. So 41.29 is accept. Can you tell me what percent is reject? How do you figure this percent? You take 100 minus 41.29, right? You just take that minus, and that will be 58.71. So my question is, will all the shipments be accepted, or will you think they will be rejected? You'll be mostly be rejected, because this number is, in order for us to have it accepted, this number has to be 95%. So if your acceptance rate is 95% or higher, then we will say it will be accepted. But if your acceptance rate is very low, like 41 or 50 or 30%, then it's mostly rejected. So yes, based on someone asked me, what is your X? You have to read the question. Same thing in your test. You have to read it. I cannot tell you. So this is the next question that I want you to read. So read this question, and I want you to tell me what is your N, what is your X, and what is your P. Read the question. And if you get it wrong, you're gonna get everything wrong. So what is N in this case?
54.
54.
Oh, yes. What is your X in this case?
3.
3.
Not 3.
Oh.
3 is close.
3 or
It's called at most 3. Does anyone here know what is the meaning when I say at most 3?
it can be anything lower than 3 as well.
So it's 3, 2,
or equals
1,
to
0. So don't forget, when you have the word at most, is that number or less? So this is a play on word. A lot of students think most means higher. No, most means, at most in this case means lower. And then there is also another word called at least 3. Does anyone know what's meaning when I use the word at least 3?
Equal to 3.
3 or more.
3 or higher. Yep, 3 or more. You're correct. So these are something that I will ask in your task. So be careful. At most 3, at least 3, at most 1, at least 1, something like that. Make sure you know what it means, because, and also put this in your cheat sheet if you doesn't know this, because it's coming up in your test. And what is my P in this case?
0.03.
0.05 or
3. It's
0.3.
3% of the math. Okay, So if you take out your StatCrunch, so the N in this case will be 54. Your P in this case is 0.03. And what you need to put in here, when I say at most 3. Less than or equals to 3. So this is the meaning of at most 3, means 3 or lower, 3210. And that came out to be what? 0.921, 0.9214. So this is your answer in this case. So 0.9214. Can someone translate this into percentage?
92.14%.
So 92.14 is accepted. So how many of this is rejected? And again, you take 100 minus that, 7 point what?
7 point. I don't know.
Calculator. That's why you need calculators. 86, right?
Yeah.
So is this more been accepted or they all been mostly been rejected?
Rejected.
Let me check this one if it's correct or not. Okay, I think it's accepted in this case. So it will mostly be accepted. So again, class, what I want to point out to you guys is if this number is higher than that number, that is mostly be accepted. Let me repeat again. So if you want not the 5, don't use this one. So in order for us to be accepted, so make sure that the acceptance rate is higher than your rejection rate, like what we have here. Then it will be mostly accepted. So if I come up this question in your test, your number is either very high like this, 92%, or it'll be very low, like 30-some%. So it's very obvious. I won't give you a percent that is in the 50s. Then you guys will be like, this is the 50s, okay? So usually in the test, I will give you this is very high or very low, okay? Like 92% or 3% or 30%, you know? So,
if it's in the 30%, like 40%, it will be
still rejected.
Rejected, okay.
Yep, still be rejected, yep. So again, in the test, I'll give you very high or give you very low. So it's very clear to you. I won't give you somewhere in between, you know, like 40, 50-some%, then you guys will like, I don't know about this one. Okay, so usually in the test is really obvious. So this is how we do this question. And again, you have to read the question very details. So 11, right? Someone asked 11?
Yes.
So in question 11, is asking us based on the pool. Yeah, read the questions. Read this question. Can you tell me what is your N, your X, and your P?
N is 6.
Mm-hmm.
P is 0.05. 0.05. 0.5, sorry.
Don't forget, 0.5 and 0.05 is 2 different things. And what is your X?
Yeah, I kind of mixed it yesterday.
That's why you have to read. Make sure you know that. Well, what's X in this case?
0.5.
No, X is not 0.5.
Sorry, X is your X is the mean, right?
I do not know, Rachel. You might need to mute yourself and put your child away. X in this case is what? Anyone beside Rachel?
Is it 5?
Yep, exactly 5, right? So when you put this is exactly 5. So what do you need to put in here is N is 6, P is 0.5. What is the meaning when I ask for exactly 5? What should we use here?
Equal to 5.
Equal to 5. Yes, you're correct. So your answer in this case is something. 0.09375. So what is that in 3 decimal place, not 4, 3. So this is point what? 0.094. Next, what's the problem that all of the adults believe in this? What's the meaning of the word all? So you still have N is 6, your P is still 0.5, but what will be your X will be in this case? That is from A. Yes, Trista, that is A, but now it's B, all. What's the meaning when I say all of them? How many people we picked?
6.
6. So that means all of them means what? Exactly 6. So in this case, in order for us to find this, you have to change this to become 6. So when I use the word all, means exactly 6, because n in this case 6. So your answer in this case came out to be 0.0 something, 0.156 something. So what is that in 3 decimal place? 0.016. Now the question is asking for at least 5. What's the meaning when I say at least 5?
Or equals to 5.
5 and what?
5 or more.
5 and up.
Up. And up in this case is 6. So in this case, how do we change this one?
You just change the sign.
To what?
Greater than or less than, equal to?
Greater
one?
than and equal to 3.
Greater than or equal to what number? 6 or 5?
5.
5.
So this is a meaning when I say at least 5 is greater or equals to 5. And that answer came out to be this. So your answer will be in 3 decimal places, 0.109. Is this significantly high? 0.109.
Yes.
Again, how do we know is this number less than or more than 5%? Is this number 0.09 less than or more than 5%?
More than 5%.
More than 5%. So is it yes or no? If it's more than 5%.
It's no.
Yes, it's more than 5%.
No.
It's no.
No. I just teach you early on, right? No, it's because it's greater than 5%. In order for us to have significantly high, this number should be what? This probability should be less than what? 5%.
5%.
Yeah. So this is more than 5%. This is not. So this is how we do this. And you guys try to do question 11. The next question 12 is very similar. So this is the same thing. None means how many people?
0.
0. So make sure you guys know the meaning of all means everyone. None means 0. And make sure you know the meaning of the 5% here.
I know you went over 7. Can you just run through 7 again?
I don't have time for this because I need to stop going on because we spent almost an hour doing this.
Okay.
So watch because I need to start chapter 6. Otherwise, you guys learn all this by your own. So I want to go ahead and do chapter 6 now. Please watch back from the previous Zoom meetings or these Zoom meetings if you need to go over stuff because I'm not going over stuff again. Watch this Zoom meeting I posted. So chapter 6. So the difference between chapter 5 and chapter 6 is chapter 5 is discrete. So everything we do in chapter 5 is number of female girls that you have, like number of people who believe in reincarnation, number of this, number of people who believe in that. So that's why your answer is, when I ask the number of, your answer is either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's discrete. But chapter 6 is going to be continuous because continuous means like weight, height, IQ score, temperature, and we'll talk about normal distribution. So 6.1 is called as the standard normal distribution. In this 6.1, you will learn 2 types of distribution. One is called a uniform and one is called a standard normal distribution. By the way, class, if you have any questions, please ask me through email. Next time, I'm only go through a selected few because I'm not spending a whole hour going through this. So if you have any questions, send me an email, then I can answer it to you because I don't want to waste my lecturing time because this is lecturing, not doing your homework. So make sure you guys, probably next time I will spend 30 minutes on the homework, not the whole hour, okay? So the uniform distribution, we learned about the uniform distribution back in chapter 2. So what is a uniform distribution? A uniform distribution is where the distribution has almost the same height. If you draw the histogram of it, they're all almost having the same height. This is called a uniform distribution. So if you draw it, it actually looks like a rectangle. Okay, so this is called a uniform distribution. The area that is shaded here is called the probability. So if you read the question, if a question is asking you to find what is the area, the question is asking you to find what is the probability. And the whole area, the whole thing from one end to another end is what we call as the density. This whole thing is exactly 1. Okay, so as you guys know, the total area under this curve is always equals to 1. And so when you guys finding your probability, the question always give you the minimum, and they will always give you the maximum. And then they will tell you it's either less than, greater than, or in between. Okay, so usually in the question, they will give you the minimum, they will give you a maximum, and they tell you either it's less than a number or greater than a number or in between a number. So in order for you to find this probability, you have to use StatCrunch. For your StatCrunch, you go under stats, go under calculators, go under uniform. You will have to put in your lower limit, which is your minimum, your upper limit, which is your maximum. Greater than, you use this symbol, greater than or equals to, less than equals to. If you have a between, you have to select a between sign. So I'm going to show you how this works so you guys can see it in your StatCrunch. So in your StatCrunch, we do go to stat, go to calculator. Last time we do binomial. This time we will do uniform. Uniform is all the way down here. Okay, so this is what we call as uniform. It looks like a rectangle. So this is the lower limit, the upper limit, the minimum, maximum. This is less than, this is greater than a number, and that's your answer. And if you want to find in between, you just need to click on this between. You see that right here? Click on it, and it will give you a between one. Okay, let me go through an example. It's very easy, actually. It's even easier than chapter 5.2. So let's take a look at this homework here, so you guys know what's going on. That's my homework. Too many windows pop out at the same time. Where does it go? There you go. So let's take a look at your homework 6.1. Now, in your test and in your homework, they will tell you, is this a uniform or normal distributed? So I will talk more about that. We'll talk more about that. So this is the one. So if you read this question, they will have the word uniform distributed. So if they have the word uniform distributed, then make sure you use the uniform distribution. And this question is asking us that it is between 0 and 9, right? So this 0 and 9 is your minimum and your maximum. So that means your lower limit is 0, your upper limit is 9. Okay. And then the question is asking us, find the probability that it is greater than 125. So which one you need to go is you go under standard. So can you tell me which one is greater than? Is that the one on the top or the one on the bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom.
Oh.
And again, if you doesn't know the symbol between less than and greater than, you're in trouble. And what number you put in here? 1.25. And your answer in this case is 0.8611. In 3 decimal place, 0.861. And that's how you do this question. Pretty much simple, not that difficult. So I want you guys to do this question. Open up your StatCrunch. Do this one. It is a uniformly distributed between 0 and 8, and it is less than 0.75 minutes. Go ahead and try this one. This is not tough. You guys all have to do it. make sure you go under Stat, Calculator, and Uniform. Yep, Krista, you're correct. That's now for 5 to 6. You're turning 5 to 6. Yep, for all. Just look at the chat room. This is from 0 to 8, and it's less than 0.75 minutes, for example. Anyone know how to do this? Anyone got an answer? Hello? You guys are quiet here. Hello? Teresa, Joy, Rachel?
Yeah, sorry. I was just opening up my StatCrunch. From,
Okay,
I accidentally closed it, so I had to
You're fine.
reopen it.
you're fine. So Jenna says 0.094. So Jenna, can you explain how you do it on your StatCrunch, Jenna?
I put in 0 and 0 for the lower limit, 8 for the upper limit. P less than
Which is less than the first one or second one?
the top one,
The top one.
the first one.
Okay, fine.
0.75.
Yep. And that's where you get the 0.094. That is correct. You guys good? Now try to do this one on your own. Again, you need StatCrunch. It's also uniformly distributed. It is between 46 and 56. This is your mean and max. And now this is in between 50.25 and 51.25. So if you want in between, make sure you click on the between box here. Okay. This is not tough, as I told you. Make sure you guys know how to do this. This is kind of an easy type questions here. Actually, chapter 6 is easy. So make sure you click on the between symbol here.
Is it 0.1?
0.1? No, someone says 0.57. So Krista, can you tell how you get your answer 0.575, Krista?
So I used the StatCrunch and I clicked on the between, so at the lower limit, yeah, the lower limit, so tiny, 46.0.
Which is 46, you did 0.0.
And then 56 for the upper limit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the between, so the first number is 50.25.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one is that 61.26?
51.25. I know it's hard to read. It's fine, you're right. So yep, so you put those numbers down and then you hit compute. It's 0.1 actually. Yep. Someone answered 0.1 is correct. I'm sorry. Who answered 0.1 is correct.
I did. Okay,
yep,
cool.
Sorry about that. I'm
no
so sorry.
worries.
Because I didn't do the work. So this is, I know it's hard to see from your screen because it might be too small. So this is how we do this. You guys all right here with this one? Okay. It's gonna be attendance time. Can you guys please type in present? Those attendance now, taking attendance. Yeah, Levi is the first one. I'm gonna ask him next time. So so this is what we call as a uniform distribution. So make sure you guys read the question very carefully, because it has the word uniformly distributed, then you use the uniform, okay? The next one in this case is called standard normal distribution. So what is a standard normal distribution? A standard normal distribution is where you will have a normal distribution, a bell shape. In order for us to have a standard normal distribution, the mean in this case is 0, and the standard deviation is 1. So this is how your graph looks like. Your mean is 0 and your standard deviation is 1. In standard normal distribution, the one underneath here is your z-score. So remember the z-score that you find early on using that formula. This is the z-score that we have. We kind of using the same formula. And then if you want to find the shaded area, let's say it's this one. This is called the area, or sometimes we call it as your probability. Okay, so usually in your homework or in your test, in the question, they will provide you the z-score, negative 1.7 to negative 1.3. You have to find the area, or they give you the area or the probability. This is 0.03. You need to find the z-score. So in your home questions, you need to figure out which one they're asking for. If they're asking for probability of area, they have to give you the z-score. If they ask you for the z-score, they have to give you the area or the probability. So in your StatCrunch, okay, in your StatCrunch, in order for us to do that, if you want to find the probability, first thing first, you have to go to Stat, Calculators, Normal. Last time we used uniform or binomial. This time we use normal. Make sure you put your mean is 0, your standard deviation is 1. Again, greater than is greater, less than is less than. Make sure the symbol is, and between, you have to select the between. And then you put it down the number that you want to find. Okay, and then you figure out what is your x in this case. If you want to find the z-score, you put the blank in. I'll show you how to do it, and I'll tell you what's going on in this case. So it's not too difficult to find this. So let me show you some examples here. So this is an example that we are using here. So this is a normal distribution. How do we know this is a normal distribution? Because it is stated right over here, normal distribution. They don't have the word uniform. So how do we do this in your StatCrunch is, first you go to Stats, you go to Calculators, and you go to Normal. Okay, this is the one that we're using. Okay, it's a normal. So this, if you look at this picture, your z-score is 0.74. So, and if you look at this question, is it shaded to your left or shaded to the right or shaded in between? Look at this question here.
Shaded to the left.
Left. So if shaded to the left, it's going to be less than. If it's shaded to the right, you have to use greater than. If it's shaded in the middle, you have to use the between. So this one is shaded to the left. And what is the z-score you have? It's 0.74, right? So you just put 0.74 in here. And that is your answer. 0.7704 in 4 decimal. They need all 4 decimal places. You guys with me here?
Yes, could you repeat? You said if it's less than, it's shaded to the left. If it's right, it's shaded to
the shading area here is on the left side. See that? So you use less than. If your shaded area is on the right side, you have to use greater than. If your shaded area,
if it's in the middle?
Between. So depends on the question. So like this question, can you tell me what do we have for the shading area for this question? Less, right, or between? For this question.
Right.
So it's shaded to the right. Right is always greater than. Okay. And what is your z-score given us in this question?
1.19.
Not 1.19. It's negative.
Oh, negative 1.19.
Yep. Don't forget, because it's on the way left. Don't forget in the middle is a 0. So
Mhm.
anything on the left is negative. Okay. So this answer is going to be what? 0.88. Can someone tell me what is this in 4 decimal place? 8829 or 8830?
30.
30. Make sure you guys know how to round. Like this question, what do you think about this question? The shading region will be
In between.
in between. So you have to put between, and the value is negative. I know it's a bit small. Let me make it bigger for you guys to see. So the value in this case is negative 0.86 and what? 1.29, right? And you hit compute, and that is your answer. 0. What is that in 4 decimal place? 7066, right? You guys all right here? Okay. So the last 3 questions that we did just now here is looking for the area. Okay, so if you look carefully, they all look for the area. But then the next question that we have here, they don't look for the area, they look for the z-score. So be careful with this. So read the question carefully, what they want. But still, if you look at this, they give you this 0.9406, right? Is this area on the left, on the right, or in between?
On the left.
On the left. So you go back to standard. On the left, is that less than or greater than? The first one or second one?
The first one.
First one, right? Last. Now if you want to find the z-score, last time we put that z-score over here, right? 1 point something negative. This time you put in that number here, 0.9406. So let me repeat. If a question is asking you to find the z-score, you put that number, probability number right on this, and whatever show up here is your answer. So your answer in this case will be 2 decimal place, 1.56. You guys got what I'm trying to tell you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you read the question very carefully, what they want. Do they want z-score or they want area or probability? Okay, same thing happens here. So can someone tell me, is this question asking you for z-score or probability?
Probability.
Read the question again.
Oh, z-score.
Find the z-score. Yep. So that means that again, the shading here is on the left or on the right?
Left.
So it looks exactly like what we have here. So I'm going to delete everything here. So where should we put this 0.2296? This number 1 here, box number 1 or box number 2?
Number 2.
Bottom number 2.
Box number 2. So
Number
it's
2.
0. Yep, very good. You guys got it. And your answer here is, don't forget the negative. Negative point what? 74. Okay, they want 2 decimal place. You guys doing all right?
Yeah.
Tough?
Not yet.
I mean, you make it simple, but homework is different.
This is your homework.
I know, but when we do it alone, it's sometimes
All right.
confusing.
Natasha, can you tell me, are we looking for z-score here or probability here?
Z-score.
Is this shading is on the left or on the right or in between?
Oh, the right.
Right, so you need to change this to which one?
The bottom one.
Okay. Which one do we need to put this number down? The first box or the second box?
The second box.
Yeah, there you go. Point. Make sure you type in the correct number. So what is your answer in this case?
Negative 0.2 or 0.92.
You're fine. I got it. See, that's it. You're done. This is not tough. You guys can do this. Now you're going to draw. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to draw. So in the test, you need to do 3 things actually. One is to draw this picture. So, so do you guys know how to draw this picture? So this picture says that it is normally distributed. So it's normally distributed. The mean in this case is 0, so the mean is always in the middle. And the standard deviation is 1, which is 1 here. And can you tell me where is negative 1.83 in here?
It'll be to the left.
To the left, somewhere here. Somewhere, you do not need to measure it, it's somewhere here. And you want it to be less than where do we shade? To the left or to the right of this number?
We shade to the left.
Yep. So can you tell me which, so this is what you do in my test. This worth 1 point in your test automatically. So can you tell me which picture looks like the one we just draw? A, B, C, or D?
D.
D, yep. So don't forget, this worth a point. Now you need to find the probability. See, the question is asking for probability. So you look at this one. Should we do less than or greater than here?
Less than.
So it's the first one. So what number should we put it down as your negative 1.83? Is that the first box or the second box?
The first box.
First box.
So if a question is asking for probability, you put that number on the first box. Otherwise, you put it on the second. Z-score, you put it on the second. Can you tell me what your answer in 4 decimal place?
0.0336.
Yep. Now, so this is what I tell you in the test. So in the test, you draw this picture, right? And then what you do here is you just write this whole thing down in your test. So let's say this is your test paper. Let's say this is question number 12 in your test. You write this, and then you write P x less than or equals to negative 1.83. Close the parentheses. This is equals to 0.033 something. This is worth 1 point. This whole thing worth 2 points. So this whole question worth 3 points in your test. You just need to copy this whole thing down in here, and then the picture, you just draw yourself. You guys got it?
Yep.
No pictures, you lose 1 point. You didn't write this down, you lose 1 point. If you didn't give me your answer correct, you lose 1 point. So don't forget, these are how I give you 3 points here. If you miss anything, I won't give you that point. Questions? Tough?
No, it seems reasonable.
Not yet finished.
It's more just remembering everything, but
And that's why I give
I
you
think
one.
repetition will be
Yep,
okay.
it's a repetition, and I give you that one piece of cheat sheet you can write on, so you guys can, you know what I mean? So you don't need to squeeze everything in here into one. All right, can someone tell me how you draw a picture for number 13? Your mean is 0, and you do not need to be perfect normal, like what I'm drawing here, just a little down shape is good enough. You do not need to redraw it till it's nicely, no need. You say it is greater than 0.32. Where is 0.32 at in here?
It's going to be to the right.
Yep, tad be to the right here, 0.32. And the question wants you to do what? Less than or greater than? Or between?
Greater than.
Greater than. Read the question again. And where should we shade for greater than?
To the right.
To the right. Of this. Yep. So how do you do this in your stack crunch? Change this to become what?
That one.
Greater than the other way. And where should we put the 0.32? The first box or the second box?
The first box.
The first box, because the question is asking to find what?
The probability.
Yep, find the probability. So if you doesn't know, read the question again. If a question asks you to find probability, first box. If a question asks you to find z-score, second box. So this one looks something like C, right? The area shading.
Yeah.
And then what is your answer in this case? In 4 decimal place,
0.3745.
And then in your test, what you need to do here is you just need to give me this whole thing, right? So you just give me.
Once we get down to with the problem, then we just write down.
Yep. So this is what you write.
Greater than. Okay.
This is what you need to read it down in your test.
Okay.
Something like that. You okay? So if you do this, 3 points automatically. I mean, if it's correct. Now we do one more that's in between. So it's between these two. Anyone tell me which one is the correct graph for this between? A, B, or C?
E.
C.
C. Don't forget, between is always in the middle, so it's not on the left or right, so it's C. Next, how do you find this between? So you have to click the between one. Make sure you click the between one. Is this asking for probability or is this asking for z-score?
Probability.
So where should we put 0.75 and 1.5? 1, 2, 3, which box? So it's always in
Point
between.
The first,
7.5 would be in that
the
one,
first
right?
box.
First one, and the second one will be what?
1.50.
1.50, and then you compute it. So don't forget, when they draw the picture, this picture looks exactly like what?
The C.
The C. So if your picture here doesn't look like C, something is wrong. Okay, so this is 0.1598. You guys all right?
You're gonna have a question like this on the test, or?
Oh yes, yes.
Oh,
Oh yes, this is in your test. This is something is in your test. Okay. Now, so your homework is 6.1. Now, I just want to point out to you, just keep on doing the same thing. Your also homework is also 6.2. What is the difference between 6.1 and 6.2 is 6.2, you find out that the mean and ascension here is 0 and 1, right? So in 6.2, your mean and standard deviation is another number. It's not 0, 1 anymore. So when you go and do 6.2 homework, it's a repeat. So when you do 6.2, because that's why I can do this together with you guys. When you do 6.2, when you use your, sorry, this is 6.2, right? What happens in 6.2 and 6.1 is, in 6.2, your mean is no longer 0, 1. What is your mean and standard deviation in this case?
the mean's gonna be 100, and the standard deviation will be 15.
So what you do is you just change this mean to 100 and change the standard deviation to 15. And this is what? Can someone tell me, is less than or greater than or between for this case?
It's gonna be less than,
Greater
or greater than, I'm sorry, greater than.
Greater than, okay.
Shaded to
And
the right.
so shade to the right. And what number you're grading than?
89.
And what is your answer in 4 decimal place?
It's gonna be 0.7683.
So what I can tell you here is 6.1 and 6.2 are very similar. The only difference here is 6.1, the mean is 0, the standard deviation is 1. 6.2, the mean is given to you by a number, let's say 115. But it's gonna be the same concept. You guys with me?
Yep, that makes sense.
Because that's why I want you to do 6.1 and 6.2, because they're all kind of together. And for this, let's do the last one. Find the area of shaded region for this case. So we're gonna
be in between.
Between. The mean is still 100, the standard deviation is still 15, so it stays the same. Can you tell me what number should we put in the first one?
70.
And the second one?
125.
And then you hit compute. And then and this one looks exactly like that picture. Okay. Make sure you check your picture first before you write your answer. 4 decimal place, 9294, 9295, right?
Mm-hmm.
Questions?
Yeah, how do we get this?
How do we get what? Yep, I'll do that. So are you okay with 6.2? Anyone?
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
They are very similar. Linda is asking me how to do question number 17 on 6.1. So I'm gonna go back to 6.1. So your online homework for this week is 2 sections, 6.1 and 6.2. And if you know how to do 6.1 and 6.2, 6.4 is kind of the same. I will teach you. So if you know how to do 6.1 and 6.2, 6.4, which is next week homework, you will know how to do it. Okay, so I would recommend do 6.1 and 6.2 first. Make sure you master that because it's not that difficult. And then after that, do 6, and then we'll talk 6.4. All right, so this is 0.1, question 17 that Linda asked. So again, the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So I'm going to change this back to 0 and 1. So that's the difference between 6.1 and 6.2. Okay. So 81 percentile, very good question here. So the question is 81 percentile. Can someone tell me what is the picture looks like if you want to do 81 percentile? Very good, Linda, you asked me that question. Now, this is like percentile that I mentioned early on in your homework, right? 81 percentile is the 81st measuring from the lower end. So that means that if you go from here to the middle, this is exactly 50 percentile, 50%. So for 81 percentile means that it goes a little bit more. So this is 81%. This is called 81 percentile, or in decimal, 0.81. So if a question is asking us to find 81 percentile, the question is asking us to find the z-score. Okay. So which picture here looks like the one that I drawn on here? A, B, C, or D?
C.
So this is the meaning of 81. Don't forget, right in the middle is 50. And it's always, some people ask me, is that always shaded to the left? The answer is yes. When you have 81 percentile, your shading is always on the left, not on the right, not in the between. Okay?
How do you know when the shading is on the right? Like what percentile?
The percentile is always measured from the left.
Oh.
Because when I say you're 10 percentile is always you measure from here down. You never measure. If I want to measure from here, it's 90 percentile. Okay, so always when you have percentile, it's always to the left. So my question to you is, how do we do this in your StatCrunch? So this is a standard, 0 and 1. This is less than, percentile is always less than. So where should we put the 81.81? The first box or the second box?
Second box.
Because this is asking for the z-score, so you will use the second box. So your answer in this case is 0.88.
So you said percentile is always going to be like asking for the z-score.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. If a question is asking for percentile, they're always asking for z-score. If a question asking for IQR, it's also asking for z-score. Because IQ, does anyone know what IQR means?
Interquartile range.
How you find IQR?
The maximum
minus Q1.
Q3 minus Q1. And what is Q3 in percentile?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
75%.
75 percentile. And what is Q1 is?
25.
25%.
So in order for us to find the 75 percentile, you just need to put what number on 0.75, right? On which one? First box or the second box?
For percentile? The second box.
0.75. Yep. So that is 0.67 something, right? So this is 0.67 something. And then this, how do you find this? Is the 25 percentile. So what you do is now you change the 75 to become what? 25. That's a Q1, 25 percentile. It's the same thing, but what happens to the sign? It is what?
Negative.
Negative. So it's actually is negative 0.67 something something. But don't forget, you are minusing because IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Do you guys know what happens when you have a minus and a minus?
It cancels out and
become positive, right?
Positive.
So in this case, you just need to add these two numbers out. So what is 0.67? Is it 0.67?
It's going to be 0.
No, you add, don't zero, 0.674 something. So when you add these two up, you have add 0.67 plus 0.67. This is what?
1.34.
This is 1.34. Okay, so make sure that some students ask me, yes, P percentile is always finding z-score. IQR is finding z-score. Z-score is finding z-score. Area is the same thing as probability, where you have to find the probability. You guys with me here?
Yep.
Now, read the question very carefully. Your online homework kind of give you the hint, because usually if they want you to find z-score, how many decimal places you need to round? 2.
But it tells you though, right?
Yeah, see, this is 2. But what happens if you're finding the probability?
Rounded to 4.
You're correct. So you can't, I mean, the homework kind of telling you. So if you're asking for probability, they ask you to round for 4 decimal places. But if you're asking for z-score, they always round to how many decimal places? 2.
So question for your test, you won't have round, right?
No.
So
you're correct.
That's just a mental note you're telling us right now.
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you right now, because mentally you guys try to beat the game. It's like, all right, well, David told me two decimal places is always z-score. 4 decimal places is probability, but in my test, I don't give you that. So that's the reason why I don't simply look at that as your little cheat thingy and then try to beat the game, because in the test, you don't have that. You probably need to know what. So read the question, z-score, probability, area or probability. You guys all right?
Yeah, I have a question. So if I hear you correctly, if you want us to find the probability, you expect our answer to be in 4 decimal place?
In the test, I don't write anything.
So do you like, if we like put our answers in 3 or 2 for?
It's fine.
Okay.
But I won't give you this round to 4 decimal.
Okay.
I will just say find the probability of this.
Okay. I don't like, we can round it however we want.
Yep, but make sure you round correctly. Usually in the test, I want in 2 or 3 decimal places.
Okay.
Don't give me 1. Okay, I don't take 1. You should give me 2 or 3.
Okay.
Like what you did in your chapter 3 homework. You give me 2 decimal. That's usually what I want. All right. So that's it for today. So if you have any questions, please stay back. You have 2 homework due tonight, which is 5.1 and 5.2, and you got 2 homework due on next Wednesday, 6.1 and 6.2. Your test is 2 weeks from today. If you have any questions, please stay put. If you don't have questions, you may go. Diara, I need to talk to you. Who else? Anyone have any questions? You can talk to me now. I'm going to stop recording here.